Hello YouTube, here's another video I've been meaning to make for quite some time now, but it really never came to fruition because I somehow always sold one of those watches, then bought another one back. But right now we have the entire range present at this moment in time, so this is the perfect opportunity to have it memorized. This is a very rare series of watches made by a citizen in the early 90s, which are all on the professional series of watches, very early Promaster models, which are unique and will remain unique because they are not eco-drive, they are not solar powered. These are the very last quartz watches, quartz diver watches that Citizen made. And along with the early Aqualand models, remain very rare and somehow sought out to this day. These are all left-handed, as you can see. They share the very same basic design, simple yet elegant, with a crisp bezel, with all those nice little indents. The bezel is a 60 click, very robust, very simple to operate. There is no bezel gasket, so the feeling is quite harsh, but on the plus side it's very easy to pick out and clean underneath. The crown is also nicely decorated, although there is no citizen marking on the watch. As I've said, although those watches share the very same basic design, they have a very big difference in the way of the material that each one of those is made. So this is a titanium model, right? As is this one. And this one. This is the simple stainless steel version. Nicely polished edges and sides. While this is a very special model, it's the IP plated steel version. It's very hard to make out, but it has very nice graphite looking hue. It's best seen right beside the stainless version. You can see the difference here. Iron plating was something that was not really seen back to the day. Heck, it's not even seen that frequently today either. Those really demonstrate what Citizen could do with materials that they had. Had already pioneered the use of titanium in watchmaking. The titanium used here in those watches is very scratch resistant. As you can see, although those watches date from back a while, they are literally as if they came out of the factory today. When were those all made? Well, let's check out. That's 1988 watch, June 1988. As you can see, it says that it's base titanium tin. You can see the caliber number, 2855. The iron plated clearly states base metal IB, which is the iron plating designation. The 2852 variant, and it's a little bit earlier model, 1995. Now the two movements, the 2852 and the 2855, are interchangeable. It appears that somewhere down the production line, Citizen switched from the 52 to the 55. The 55 has a 3-year battery time. It's a very simple movement with very simple specs, you know, the usual, what you would expect from a quartz movement, and it's very, very robust. Usually, I'm picking up those watches used. They haven't been used for a while, and with a little bit of cleaning and a new battery, they are set to go. They are very simple yet very well made movements. Now let's take a look at the other difference between those models, which is the dial. Obviously, with the stainless steel, you have a simple black dial, black matte dial, very clean. Lume is dead usually in all of those watches due to age. It used to be the semi-radioactive lume, which lasted quite a while, but it's now completely dead in all the watches, I'm afraid. And you have the Promaster sign right here. The very first time I believe it was designated as such, and the 300-meter water resistance. Same for the iron plating. Day date. I like setting that to Japanese day. Now, the titanium models, on the other hand, have this either this lovely black matte with golden details, golden sides on the bezel, and the golden crown. This is the extremely rare dial, which is somehow reminds me of a paper Toshi dial. It's very hard to pick that up with camera. It's very unique. It's very rare. I think this angle makes it slightly easier to observe. And it may just be a tad more sensitive to sunlight, because I've seen a couple of those watches where this Toshi dial was destroyed. Now, it could have been that the watches had a battery that leaked fluid, and this destroyed the dial. Obviously, I cannot tell because I didn't buy those watches. Yet, this is a rarity. And this one here is a full lume version. As I said, the lume is dead. Now, I've done a slight mod on this one. I've put a black date wheel because I think it suits it better. Normally, it would have been a white date wheel, just for the purists out there. So you have a full lume dial, and the indexes here are blacked out for contrast. Again, the titanium models are surprisingly scratch resistant. There's not a single scratch. I've seen many of those models, most of them, you know, just look like they just came out of the factory. Now, usually there is either this type of bracelet that wears quite loose, a two-tone gold titanium gray, which in my personal opinion just looks great. And to be frank, I'd go out and buy tomorrow a new automatic watch which had, you know, the titanium plus gold two-tone bracelet and case like this one here. I just think the contrast is very, very well executed visually. Plus this beautiful matte dial which I believe is to everyone's liking, because, you know, surprisingly, although this looks stunning, you know, novelty wears off after a while, as with any, you know, other color than black. Well, you know, black lasts forever. This one is pretty interesting too. Usually they are also paired with the typical citizen-esque style, depth limit included rubber strap. Oddly enough, these are essentially the same watch, only this one is on bracelet, this one is on the rubber dial, yet they have a different designation. Again, depending on whether one has the stock bracelet or just the rubber strap. I believe this one is the SPF 56-9873 with an original Japanese yen price of 45,000 back in the day. This one is the SPF 56-0446 with the same price, 45,000 yen. The simple stainless steel version the SPF 56-0456. SPF 56-0433 with a list price of 36,000. Surprisingly hard to find, I think, because the titanium version simply sold more. And the iron plated version, the SPF 56-0456 with a list price of 38,000. This one is really spectacular if you find a good one. Something you don't see quite so often. I think the iron-plated ones may come with more battle scars than the titanium versions for some reason. The crystal is flat sapphire, very thick, since this is a 300-meter depth-rated watch. Now, obviously, those watches are quite old now, so I don't expect them to hold the same kind of water resistance. Plus, they are simple case backs, screw back case backs, which means that they probably obviously are not helium resistant. But they're pretty well suited for a simple swim, I guess. Not much of a diver, really. Very unique watches in design. As I said, there are pros and cons for simple qualities. Obviously, it's a hassle, changing batteries every 2 or 3 years, something like that. But on the other hand, they're very robust, very simple. Clasp here is semi-stainless steel, not so high quality, but pretty robust. With the Promaster sign. Usually bracelets do have their own scars and slight discolorations. This is gold plated, but you know, not such high quality gold plated. But a very loose bracelet, very comfortable. Simple bracelet, but the visual quality is there. So should you pick one of those up? Yeah, I believe you should. Obviously, I've picked many of those up, and I have a soft spot for them. but very nice watches, especially if you're left-handed, right? I can't say that being right-handed, they are the perfect watch for me, but they're very nice casual watches. You can pair them obviously with anything. Precisely that's why I have opted to pair them with many different styles of straps, bracelets. They are particularly well suited with NATO bracelets. I've had the stainless steel on a simple bond style NATO, looks the part. An obvious choice is the citizen-esque, citizen-compatible diver strap. They're practically made for this strap. If you'd like to spare the original bracelet, and of course if you can't buy the original bracelet, unfortunately it's very hard to find any additional pieces for those bracelets. It's also very hard to find crystals for those watches. They're very thick, and they tend to collect the odd scratch here and there with age. But these are watches that age phenomenally well. As I said, robust movements, tough as nails, and very interesting visually wise. Some unique color combos. The iron plate watch is very unique in itself. The full version, something you don't see every day. Actually tempts me to see if I can have this one reloomed. It would be something. And of course a very, very rare Toshi dial. I'll call it Toshi dial. Probably it's not a Toshi dial, but it looks quite a lot like a Toshi dial. Very nice high quality print here. These watches tick a lot of boxes for me. They're very simple, light, feather light. If we're talking about the titanium version, I doubt that it's on the bracelet that's heavier than 120 grams maybe. The titanium one on the strap is practically feather light. So there you have it, folks. It's been a video I've been meaning to make for some time now. I finally managed to make it, and I'm very happy for doing so, because I believe these watches deserve some wrist time and a lot more love than they originally got. Remember, these are all JDM watches. They were not exported outside of Japan. And they are watches of a bygone generation. Citizen, I suppose, will never ever put out a new plain vanilla quartz diver again. Right, thank you for your time. Any comments or questions, welcome. Subscribe for more videos to come.